everyone. Happy Sunday. This is Simon with About Trade, and we are starting our weekly webinar mapping out your week ahead. A few words for new people. First of all, welcome to our webinars. And the best way to explain it, it's as I always use the quote that traders use when they say you plan your trade and then you trade your plan. So what we're trying to do here is just trying to analyze the market, see what's happening, mix some fundamentals with technicals, and try to create the structure for the upcoming week. That's pretty much a short explanation. Few things about myself. My name is Simon Friedman. I'm a senior account manager with About Trade. I've been involved with trading for over 25 years. I started in June of 2000 as a prop trader in New York City. And after doing that for about 11 years, I moved on to different way of trading, and I also started to mentor, educate others. And of course, I'm very happy to be assisting our customers at About Trade currently. What we do here, it's the same thing every week. We speak about indices, we speak about stocks, commodities, Forex. As I said, we'll take a look at some fundamentals, including the economic calendar. We'll switch then to charts for technical analysis, and also we'll take a look at winners and losers for the past week. Risk warning. You can find the full statement at avatrade.com website. Of course, everything we do here is purely educational. We do not suggest any trades. We don't give any trading signals here. Social media channels. Please feel free to subscribe to our Telegram and X channels. Also YouTube, of course, as I always say, it's my favorite. You see a lot of information there, tutorials, educational material. You have webinars that we do being recorded and posted to YouTube. So it's a lot of information. If you are watching this on YouTube, please don't forget to click likes if you like it, of course, and share with people that might be benefiting from this. And of course, subscribe and click on that bell so you'll be notified about new things coming in, and we do it on a daily basis. So before we go into the slides that I prepared, it was an interesting week, right? We started the new year. Last week was in red for the US indices. We had Dow Jones losing 145 points or 0.3%. You have S&Ps down 0.4% for the week, and NASDAQ was the weakest, down 0.7% for the week. Now, this upcoming week, you might know, and if not, I'll remind you, Monday it's a holiday. It's a national holiday in the United States. It's Martin Luther King's Day, and the equity markets are going to be closed, so the stock markets are not opening. Futures, some of them are going to be trading with a short session. So please find exact information. You can go to avatrade.com website, go to trading info, and then go to holiday schedule, and you have detailed schedule there for all the instruments, so it wouldn't be confusing. So it is a short week, but it's going to be a busy week. We also, on Monday, this World Economic Forum starts in Davos, or Davos, I'm not sure how to pronounce it the right way. And it's going to be a lot of state leaders, including President Donald Trump. So the event is being broadcast, I think, or at least the special moments are being shared with the public through different channels. So we'll see. Of course, knowing President Trump, we should expect a strong speech there, definitely speech that will be affecting things. So we'll be prepared for that. So again, Monday, the US equities are closed. Some futures are trading short session. Now, speaking of President Trump, these are the articles that I took snapshots of from Barron's. S&P has gained 16% in Trump's first year back in the office. How that compares with other presidents. So the key points here, the S&P 500 index climbed nearly 16% during President Trump's first year back in the office. The U.S. economy expands faster than expected in 2025. The GDP growth likely reaching 2.5% or more, and the unemployment rate at 4.4% in December. Investors face potential volatility in 2026 due to the midterm elections, historical market weakness in such year, and recent geopolitical events. So they just tell us that we're gonna have an interesting year. Now this is provided by Dow Jones Market Data. Just for fun, let's put it this way: we have the gain or loss on S&P 500 during the presidency of presidents starting from 1929, right? That was the Depression year. And then Franklin Roosevelt. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I'm just going to leave it here for a moment. You can take a screenshot and just try to see for yourself. I think the biggest was right here, 1933 of Franklin Roosevelt, up 89. That was, I guess, the recovery after the Depression. Then another strong year was right after the Second World War, looks like it. Then we had George Bush, Ronald Reagan, 1718. Clinton had 25, and Barack Obama inherited the economy after the crisis of 2007, 2008. So there were big years right after 41-24. The first presidency of Trump, market went almost 24%, and now it's almost 16. So these are the numbers. Now, over the weekend, interesting. We'll see how the market will react. The futures will open, but the stocks will not. So let's see. This could actually create a little panic in the equity markets. Let's see, especially European. So it says right here, Trump threatens tariffs of 8 NATO members until Green Deal is reached. So he's pushing, he's using his bullying, I think I mentioned something last week that we didn't hear anything about tariffs. Here we go. He's using this tool again to discipline countries that don't like what he says and what he does. Very interesting. So let's see how the market react to that statement over the weekend. Now, another one, we've heard a lot of things with Powell being subpoenaed and other things. It says right here, Trump tried to give Powell one last shove out of the door. Now he's likely to stay at the Fed. It says right here, one leading explanation is subpoena were aimed at pressuring Powell to leave the Fed in a few months. Powell's terms in Fed chairs ends in May, but he can choose to stay on as Fed governor until 2028. So I think the battle continues. Just, if you're not familiar with that, Trump is blaming Powell for not cutting the rates, and he's doing everything in his power to push Powell to cut the rates. Speaking of which, 28th of January is the next Fed's decision. And since last week, the number stays the same. It's only 4.4% probability of the rate cut. So nothing changes. You could see here a month ago, it was 24.4. A week ago, we spoke about it was 4.4, and then nothing changed since last week. So very slight chance, very small chance of the interest rate cut in the upcoming meeting. Now, economic calendar, I just want to mention a few things for new people especially. This is public info. You can find it on our web trader or the app, or you can just Google it. It's available for everyone, and I think every trader should be aware of these things ahead of time. So what I do here, I take out the high impact events only. You can choose whatever is relevant for your trading. You can browse and filter through it. So these are the things happening in the upcoming week. And let's take a quick look and run through it. So on Monday, we have GDP numbers from China, retail sales from China as well, inflation data from Canada as well. Moving to Tuesday, we have employment data from UK and a Swiss National Bank chairman speaking on Tuesday as well. Wednesday, President Lagarde's speech again, twice. CPI numbers from UK, and here's the speech of President Trump. This could be the speech at the economic forum. I think that's what it is. So that's on Wednesday. Moving to Thursday, we have employment data from Australia, and we have important data from US. I think this is the most important data for the week. We have GDP numbers and core personal consumption expenditure, and that's happening on Thursday. This is a serious data that the Feds are watching in their decision, and this comes in 6 days before the decision. Following, we have consumer price index CPI data from New Zealand. This is also serious. Bank of Japan interest rate decision that's going to be affecting, of course, the Japanese yen and the Japanese index Nikkei 225. Retail sales from UK. We have PMI numbers from Germany and PMI numbers from European Union, also PMI from UK. Another speech of President of European Central Bank, Christine Lagarde. And we have PMI numbers from US closing the week on Friday. So these are the events from the economic calendar. Now going to winners and losers for the week. We'll take a look at them when we get to the chart one by one, but these are the numbers. Silver was strong, just flying high, 13.37. Bitcoin futures, these are all futures. Bitcoin up 5.8, heating oil 4.5, gold 2.25 almost to the downside. We have losers starting with cocoa, 4.8%, corn 4.6, natural gas 189, and palladium down 1.27%. So these are the, again, winners and losers. And we'll move now to the charts. And as usual, we'll start with indices, starting with China. So here's China. It looks like we closed below this trend line that we created a while ago, connecting the bottoms. What we had here, just going back, it's important to understand where we come from as a market, right? So we had a low here in October, then it was a nice run to the upside. I think all of this was related to tariffs. We had correction, lower high, lower low, lower high. Then we kind of established support here. And then we start turning around, making high highs, high lows. And we peaked this recent swing. We peaked at January 6th. And since then, we turned around and we just broke through the trend line here, closing at 15,190. So Friday was a weak closing together with US indices and others. Japanese index, it's showing signs of being exhausted a little bit here. We had a nice run here Friday, if you remember last week, and then pretty much trading in very, very tight range with the tails trying to run, but then closing lower. And then Friday, we had a sell-off. So this could be hypothetically the beginning of the correction or reversal. So we're not going to guess. We'll just take each day as it comes, and we'll be watching Nikkei. And as we said, there's a decision of Bank of Japan this week. So we'll definitely see some price actions on Nikkei and the yen. Moving to US indices, as we said, the Dow Jones went down 0.3%. Still holding strong here, right? S&Ps down 0.4%, also holding this around 7,000 psychological level here, right? And Nasdaq was the weakest for the week at 0.7%. We are trading weaker here, obviously. We are trading below this level, 25,800s. And we marked that level, if you remember, the sell-off happened here. And then we tried to break through, but we couldn't sustain that move to the upside. So Nasdaq obviously looks weaker than others here. Going to Germany. Germany had a very strong extended move starting November 21st. Pretty much went up, making the highs. And then this week, 3 days, was selling Friday. Actually, it didn't correlate with US markets, actually went higher on Friday. So let's see how this statement of Trump with the 10% tariffs against the countries that don't support his idea of taking over Greenland, we could see the reaction on German market. UK, it just keeps on moving higher. Totally disregards the global markets. Take a look this week. We didn't have a single red day. Very strong UK market. French, a sell-off started Thursday and Friday continued. So that's on indices. Again, we have a short week in the US indices, even though Monday is going to be a short session for the indices futures, right? Okay, moving to individual stocks, right? Important to mention that this week we will have about 30 out of 500 S&P 500 stocks or companies reporting. So it's very, very important. I have a few of them that I wanted to mention to you. We'll take a look at the moment. But let's see what the big guys are doing. Apple is stepping down, making lower lows, lower highs. Amazon is trading around this strong level here, around 238. Microsoft, after really having a hard time moving higher and getting stuck here around 470s, we just moved this week lower. So you could see the 200 remained a strong resistance. We couldn't get above it, and then we sold, closing around 460. Google is the only one that holds strongly here, but we should definitely watch this current level here. This was the high before the correction and moving higher. So the high is 328.75. Just mark it. 328.75. So you could see here, so far we are holding this level. It plays the role of support. If the market continues selling, we could be breaking below, and we'll be watching the price action here. Maybe we'll start building resistance here, or we could just slide lower. It depends on the intensity of the market going lower. And of course, if the market decides to go higher, Google is the strongest out of the 7 magnificent group. Meta, we did have a little bit of recovery here from November lows, and this past week we've been selling. So you could see here selling with the gap even. Tesla, it looks like it's holding this current level, 430s, below 50-day moving average here, but not really selling heavily. Now, we spoke about Boeing last week, and we said that we'll be watching this level 238 for possible resistance. He just went through it as it was never there. We closed at the highs for the week, 247.63. Let's see if this move continues, or we might see the reversal. If this continued, so we definitely might see strong resistance around this area here, around 265. Let's see if that happens. Take a look on the weekly chart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks, 2 months straight up. And as you could see here, the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks, the volume is increasing as the price going higher. So this is a real move. And let's see how it plays out. Now, few things, a few companies that will be reporting. As I said, there's going to be 30 out of S&P 500, but I want to mention few. Netflix is reporting on Tuesday. So you could see Netflix since the split, it doesn't do so great, right? This is the weekly chart. We've been having a couple of months, actually more than that. 1, 2, 3, 4 months, 5 months down move, and we're coming to the level of these spikes here. So maybe at some point we'll see some buyers coming in. And if we're looking for the strong levels of support, it's going to be more like here at the 82 level. We said we had a bounce here, then retest, and all-time high from these levels around 82. So we definitely will be watching those levels. As you could see, we had a sell-off, consolidation, and continuation to the downside, no correction. And let's see how the earnings will play, and that's happening on Tuesday. Now we have Charles Schwab, the bank and the broker, reporting on Wednesday. So chart looks strong here. We're trading in this range. Support around 99, 100. Resistance, we had few spikes above 104. So let's see how earnings will move the stock. Also on Wednesday, Johnson & Johnson's reporting. If you remember, we mentioned it with all the tariffs on pharmaceuticals. Johnson & Johnson actually came out a winner as a US company. So take a look at a very strong move here. Nice healthy moves, move up, correction, moves up, correction, moves up, correction, and we are at the highs here. So Johnson & Johnson also reports on Wednesday. And of course, Intel, the whole story with Intel, if you remember, just to refresh our memory, Intel was at the edge of bankruptcy, maybe. I don't know if you can call it that way. The government got in, and then NVIDIA got in, and then latest news about the new chip. So we had a very nice move from the lows. So the 1920 area, if you remember a while ago, we mentioned that that's a book value of the company. So we said that at those levels, somebody's going to come in with the proposal to buy them. And since then, we've been actually stepping up nicely. And the last 2 days, it was a sell-off here. So the earnings are coming in on Thursday. Let's see how Intel will behave after the earnings. We can create a little trend line here connecting the tops. So you can also do the bottom here as well. So as you could see clearly, we were trading in the channel pretty much. Then we broke beginning of the week through it. And let's see if we're holding this trend line to the upside. And if we enter in, we're probably going to be looking for some support lower. But as of now, it looks very strong. And let's see what the earnings will do to the price of the shares. So that's as far as the equity markets. We're going to move now to commodities, and then we'll go through those winners and losers. So silver, unstoppable. Take a look at this vertical parabolic move. Super, super strong. So as you could see here, we started the week strong. Then Thursday we tried to sell off, came right back, even though finish in red, but nice recovery. And Friday we had the inside day. That means the low was higher than the previous low, and the high was lower than the previous high. So I guess we're waiting to break through this previous day's range. Definitely the move is extended. Some would say overextended, but we're not here to judge. The price of silver is super, super strong. If you remember, we mentioned a few weeks back, there's a physical demand for silver as being used in the solar panels physically. And of course, the speculation on electronic trading of silver is strong as well. So that's silver up 13.37% for the week. Bitcoin, we'll take a look at the moment when we get to cryptos. Heating oil was also strong, up 4.54% for the week. We are fighting here with the 50-day moving average here after making lows. Gold is also showing a little bit sign of being exhausted, possibly. But this Friday move, it just shows us this 54 40s. It's a strong support. There was a resistance that was sold off, and then we moved higher, and then we're establishing that support, obviously, here around 45 40s. And we are trading right on this trend line connecting the tops. So gold remains strong, up 2.23%. Now on the losing side, we had cocoa, and take a look what cocoa is, trying to establish a double bottom here, clearly. So just to show us the big picture here, we've been selling since May of 2025. An easy trading dynamics, but here currently we are forming a double top. The question is, will we bounce from here, or will they just suck in the buyers and then break through the lows? We'll find out soon. It's a strong level here, right? So that's on cocoa, down 4.81%. Corn, a big sell at the beginning of the week. Wow. Down 4.66%. Doesn't look so strong, right? Big sell-off, and trading at the very bottom of this range, not the range, but the candle. The question is, will we break through the low and continue? Will we establish and bring in some buyers and move higher? We'll find out soon. So corn down 4.66%. Natural gas, as we said last week, that natural gas was approaching around $3 area. And we said that around that area, some buyers will start coming in, and that's what we see here actually. Wednesday, we stopped right around 309. Thursday, we tried to move high after making lows. And then Friday, were the red day, but closing within the previous day, kind of in the middle. So the question is, will we hold this and reverse to the upside, or we'll continue lower, in which case we might be testing this 289, 290 area. That was a strong support here. And the big move actually started around here with the lows being at 289. So let's see if the buyers decide to run it up from here, or the sellers will push through 3 and coming to around 289, 290 area. So that's on natural gas. And palladium. Palladium, after trying to break through 1914, as you could see here, this was the first move, ending up around the high of 1915.70. Since then, we had a few spikes, including this week. We couldn't break. Wednesday was sold. Friday tried to recover. Thursday tried to recover. And Friday, after the sell-off, we actually buyers pushed it higher but closed lower for the day. So the question is, what's next? We clearly have a nice channel here between 1695 and 1914. So let's see how palladium acts at these levels. That's it. With commodities, let's move to Forex. We'll start as usual with dollar index. Dollar's been strong since reaching the lows here, the around Christmas, right? 12/24, December 24th. Since then, we've been moving nicely higher, lifting above 100, 200, and we're currently trading above 50-day moving average. And we are facing resistance here. As you could see, we just repeated that level again. High 99.28 was reached on December 9th. High 99.27, short by a fraction of a penny. And as of now, we're clearly seeing resistance here around this level, 99.27. And let's see how this week will play. Again, I need to repeat the tariff news of Trump games. Let's see how dollar will be affecting. And of course, we are 10 days away from the Fed's decision on interest rates. So that's on dollar index. If we take a look at the major currency pairs here, euro dollar is just the mirror image, as I always say. We are holding this support here around 115.90s. Pound also came to the level of support 133.70s, and it's right on 50-day moving average here. Why am I talking about this level? This was the level on which was sold heavily, and then we, as you could see here, a lot of actions around this level, 133.70s. They move higher, fake breakout, and moving lower, holding this level here, 133.70s. Australian dollar, after this move to the upside, we're actually holding nicely here around these levels. As you could see here, this was the resistance from which was sold, and we came back to this level, and a lot of actions, a lot of accumulation. The big question, which way we're going to go from here. A lot of actions around this level, that means somebody's getting loaded, right? So we had an attempt to move higher. As we said previously, pound was a fake breakout in a way, came back to this level, and again, accumulation is continuing around this level. So we'll be watching. New Zealand dollar, not as strong as Australian, looks actually weak. We're still below this level of October 29th, beginning of the sell-off. And we're trading right between 150-day moving average here. Dollar Swiss, a nice recovery here from triple, quadruple bottom here, whatever you want to call it. We just broke through the 200-day moving average on Thursday, and Friday we held nicely. So dollar remains strong against the major currencies. Canadian dollar is not an exception. Here we go. Dollar is strong against Canadian dollar. It's holding nicely here, and it is kind of facing resistance at 100-day moving average here. And we're coming to yen, right? As we said, there's a decision of Bank of Japan on interest this week. Take a look here. We did peak this level at 157.88 back on November 20th. Then we had a nice correction, finding support at 50-day moving average, moving higher, not reaching that level, coming back close to 50-day moving average here, facing resistance again, and then establishing his support clearly, right? We did have a nice pop here on Tuesday, Wednesday, reversal, Thursday green, Friday red, but we still are holding. There's no closing below this level 157.80s. So we'll definitely watch how it will be moving. What are dynamics of course, of US dollar and the yen on that upcoming decision of Bank of Japan. So that's on yen. Now let's take a look at yen. As I always use, take a look. Yen has been strong this week against other currencies. 3 consecutive days with against the pound. Aussie, also Friday, sell-off against the yen. Canadian, weakness. Swiss, 3 consecutive days here. Now Swiss, we mentioned it, that was the strongest against the yen, making the highs here. So if we take this level here, where we had a hard time moving higher, then we just moved through it on Tuesday. Wednesday came right back. Thursday, Friday, sell-off. So I think we could be, or we should be paying attention to this level here at 196 area. And that's also around 50-day moving average here. So you could see here, when we draw the top and the bottom, we have a nice channel here that we're coming back into. And the big question is, will we hold this 196, the previous support here from which we try to make highs here, or will we break through this level and start building a resistance here? So we could be seeing a reversal here as well. So again, within the channel was a lot of failed attempts to move higher. Then we had the failed breakout or fake breakout coming straight back into the channel, 3 consecutive days to the downside. So definitely Swiss yen worth watching on possible breakdown or the breakup, either way. Euro yen, similar situation here. We had a peak here, we had a sell-off, nice correction here. We didn't reach the bottom of this day, right? This was December 19th. This is the daily chart. So the whole range was created by one day, big range day, right? Then we broke through it, similar to the Swiss, and then 3 consecutive days to the downside. So let's see if we come to this level around 180, 240s, and see if we hold it, or if we break it, we might see continuation as well. And New Zealand yen, similar situation here. This is the resistance around 91.30s, and we have a support around these levels here, 90.04, and that's also 50-day moving average. So definitely yen is going to be in play. The question is how that decision and what kind of decision will affect the yen, and of course, in return, it will affect the Nikkei, the Japanese index. All right, one more thing or two more things for dessert. Bitcoin, as we said, was up for the week. The futures of Bitcoin was up 581. As you could see here, we are holding this trend line. We're the strong beginning of the week. We moved higher. We're still facing resistance of 100-day moving average here, but we are above 50. So the 50 is kind of a curving to the upside, gives us a little bit of hope of possible strength coming into Bitcoin here. We are holding the trend line. We are holding this initial strong move that took us above the trend line. So currently, we are trading at 95,000 here. And XRP Ripple is holding above 50-day moving average here. As you could see here, we broke above it again, came back, and we're strongly holding the 50-day moving average. Also, price-wise, we're holding above $2. Even this spike here that we had on the 16th, it did move below the previous low, but then there's a nice recovery. And even that didn't hit below 2. The lowest here was 202. So Ripple is holding. All right, that concludes our technical analysis. And just to remind everyone about social media channels, please follow, subscribe, If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to click likes. If you like it, of course, subscribe, hit that bell that you'll be notified. If you have any comments, please don't hesitate to write them. And just to summarize what we spoke about, we have a lot of events. Let's just go through them really quick. We have 30%, 30 companies out of S&P 500 reporting this week. We spoke about a few of them. We have Netflix Tuesday, Charles Schwab and Johnson & Johnson on Wednesday, and Intel on Thursday. We have Monday, the U.S. equities are closed for Martin Luther King Day. It's national holidays in the States. We have Economic Forum kicking in on the 19th. Trump is going to be speaking together with other world leaders. They're expecting about 60 of them being there. We have speeches of Lagarde this week. We have economic day. I'm not going to repeat this. The calendar. We have interest rate decisions from Japan, and we have core personal consumption expenditure numbers from US. So these are the important things. Losers and winners we went through. And it's going to be interesting. We're given the short week for the US markets, but a lot of events. And again, to remind us that Trump's statement over the weekend about the 10% tariffs against certain countries that don't support his move on Greenland, definitely will see an effect of that statement when the markets open. So have an amazing weekend. We still have time to rest and spend good time and quality time with our loved ones. Get some energy, prepare yourself for the upcoming week. And of course, I wish everyone a successful and profitable week. All the best. Take care.